Hi all, it's Fionna Gossling from Royal LePage with an update as to what happened in Burlington real estate in July 2024. So I'm trying a different format here, and I'd love your feedback. One, right off the bat, I'm going to make this in white. So I thought it would be interesting, or I thought it was kind of interesting to look at what's been happening for average annual sale prices in Burlington. This is across all property types going back to 2017. So, um, as you can see, prices really they kind of peaked in 2017. Burlington didn't have such a big correction from the height of 2017, and then they've been kind of steadily rising till 2022. They came down a bit last year, and they're up a little bit over 2023. So, when the news media is talking about the sky falling, I think it is important to keep in mind that our prices are still kind of the second highest they've ever been in history. And real estate is not straight up kind of a straight line kind of growth thing. Um, as you can see from this graph, which is showing every month the average and median sale price going back to 2021. So it is by no means a straight line graph, but it is interesting to kind of look at it that way or see the visual of that prices are still quite high. Um, so what happened in Burlington in July? We did not have a ton of sales. We had 173 sales. The market is slow, clear across Canada from what I can gather about talking when I'm talking to colleagues across the country. So we only had 173 sales. There were 644 units available to choose from, which is 3.7 months of inventory. That is more inventory than we have had all year, as you can see, and actually more inventory than we've had in the last all of 2023 as well. So what that means is if you're a buyer sitting on the sidelines and you want to get into the market, this is a pretty good time to be a buyer. The average sale price has come down month over month, and you can see so this past month in July, the average sale price was $1,034,000. And the median sale price was $952,000, which again is down from previous months. And it's taking a little bit longer to sell, 23 days on average here. It is useful to look at breaking that down year over year, which is often what news media talks about. So when you compare this July to last July, our number of sales, like units of transactions, are down by 15%. Our number of active listings are way up. Last July, 380, this July, 644. So we've had a 69% increase in product on the market. And our average sale price, interestingly, is the exact same. But it is taking longer to sell, which makes sense. If there's so much more to choose from, buyers are going to take a little bit longer to make their decisions. Now, when you look at the micro markets within Burlington, so those averages and median sale prices are factoring in condos and detached homes. So 3.8 months of inventory of detached homes is quite a lot for historic averages in Burlington. The average sale price was $1,506,000. The average townhouse price was $945,000, and the average condo price was $738,000. Now, this is where I thought this is what I thought would be useful. Love some feedback. But when you hear there were 78 sales of detached homes, it's useful to have some kind of benchmark, like what happened last month. And you can see the sales are way down. Back in April, we had 138 sales. May 125, 95, now we're down to 78. So the sales are declining. Number of transactions, number of active listings have stayed, they were pretty high, and they've raised. There wasn't a ton of change here. But your average sale price of a detached home is interesting to look at. So just over 1.5 in July, and it was about $50,000 higher in June. And then, so June and April were both around that 1550 mark. A little dip in May, and then a bigger dip in July. And I mapped the same thing out for condos. So condo sales were slower, number of transactions, way more to choose from. But interestingly, the average sale price increased, which is unusual. So that sometimes when there's so few, when there's only 37 sales, you could have a few really high end sales happen, and that's going to skew your average sale price. So I'd be cautious about jumping to any kind of conclusions about what's happening to condo sale values in Burlington. Um, and then when you look at townhouse sales, you can see we had 58 fewer to choose from, and the average sale price of a townhouse is kind of flat in there. We were at 944,000 this month, 949,000 the month before, so I'd call that equal, and then 969 the month before, so a little bit up, but not substantially. If you had any specific questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to go through all of this with you in more detail or break down kind of what's going on, the nuances of the particular markets. Otherwise, I will check back in next month and update you on what happened in August.